Hello, everybody, and welcome to this presentation of Minor League Tag Pro week number 4. Season 22. We have got a matchup between the league-leading OutPast against the Chennai Muper Pings. Although I realize now that on my scoreboard it says the Super Pings, but no, they're actually called the Muper Pings. I'm your host Von Bach. Joined alongside me is co-commentator JJ Poole. JJ, what are you looking forward to in tonight's matchup?
Hey, Vaughn. Should be a good matchup tonight. Like you said, we have the first place team so far after 3 weeks, and we have a team that most would have picked as a Mooper contender, who we had in week one, who had a very good game, the streaming. So hopefully from their perspective, they think they're going to get some of the stream luck. It looks like both of these teams are missing key offenders, though. It looks like, based on the group, that Will 1119 is missing for the Mooper Pings, and Balls to You is missing for Outpast. We'll see how these teams adjust. Looking in the group, it looks like El Sacco is going to be filling in for Outpast. I think Sacco, from what I remember from way back when, is more of a defender. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. So maybe Outpass is going to move some stuff around. And it looks like D-Rec is filling in for Will, which again is another defender coming in for an offensive player. But the Mooper Pings definitely can move Water Wheel to offense and be fine.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how the teams decide to play their cards in terms of positioning. Balls to You is definitely a big loss. He is the team's leading capper and second in the league with 21 caps so far on the season. So they'll be looking for production from the rest of the players. Um, and we'll see how El Sacco is able to fit in with the team as well as D-Rec.
Possibility that Ermigo could go offense. No, Ermigo used to be Air M Jordan, played offense in NLTP, I believe. And he's very recently made the switch to defense. Maybe he can go offense, but I'm sure El Sacco's been around enough that he knows enough to fill in and play support to end the someday. He's a NBA elite attacker for sure. And last minute join into the group is Will 1119, who jumps into the spectator spots, at least for the time being.
Interesting. We'll see if he joins the lineup. I assume if he's showing up now, he's probably not warm. Maybe he was busy and is that's why the game got moved. It was originally scheduled for 9:30, um, but still waiting to get underway. So far, he has not been put into the official lineup. They haven't brought the lineup cards to the ump yet, so who knows?
Maybe this is what slight delays from 10 o'clock until now has been for. It's been just to see if Will would show up. But you said he's not jumping into the group very quickly. He's still in spectators. So who knows?
Yep, they're pulling out the stall tactics. I don't know. At first, it seemed like they were about to get started, but then it was the Mover Pinks who asked for a 1 second, asking for a bit of a delay. So maybe they were waiting for Will. But now that he's here, who knows what they'll do. As for the maps that we'll be seeing tonight, we've got Dash and Sugar Hill. Dash is just a recreation of Rush with, as far as I know, just the one change is that they've added a boost around the mid. But so more options for grabbing, for boost routes, for capping, and for sniping as well. And then Sugar Hill, which is making its second appearance in the mLTP rotation, the first time since season 18. And I believe it's a different version now, but we will get to that when we get there. As we are getting underway, heading into game number 1 on Dash.
It did not look like Will opt in.
Interesting. So we will be seeing D-Rec at least for the time being.
I have to imagine Water's going to go offense. I know D-Rec is going offense. Interesting. Ermigo did go offense with Sacco playing D.
All right. As we're seeing the first couple of grabs, D-Rec getting out of base off of regrab. He's not going to be able to come to base as 3 OD members from OutPast are just waiting for him. He'll be chased back. And he should get cornered. Oh, he gets around Ermigo. Can he come underneath the blocks? Not quite. Popzig tries to leave the double block on Zig to get Ermigo instead, but that leaves Zig open to get the return.
Boosts on dash in the middle, these extra ones, they're definitely most useful for chasing. I think it's very hard to cap off of those boosts into the flag.
Yep, as the first
And
round of
grabbing.
power-ups goes over to OutPast, only one of the 4 members... Ooh, chance for dealer. Only one of the 4 Muper Pings members even won for him. That was interesting on the first round of ups. Instead, they're trying to keep the regrab chain alive though, and they do have it. OutPast a little bit scared to start their own regrab chain, scared of giving up a cap, and their power-ups will run out and essentially not come to any use this time.
Not a bad strategy to keep a regrab chain going early. If you get the first cap or 2 on rush or dash, it's relatively easy to keep a lead. Stay ahead, the flag out. That also helps. Oh, nice block by Water. This D-Rex coming in. D-Rex had a couple chances already to cap. He's looking pretty good for a relatively new O player. It's filling in.
Yeah, certainly a good sign for the Muper Pings with their substitute, although the OD from OutPast has done very well so far to keep this a scoreless game. Second round of power-ups this time, Muper Pings remember to go for them, and they do win them both. A tag pro for D-Rec, they should be able to get a grab out. D-Rec's gonna go flag pro. Ooh, the boost ends up not giving a chance for Refine to get out, and instead it's Ermigo who gets a grab. Avoids the boost, and he's gonna have a cap. Oh, great juke there. Water Wheel tried to have the boost behind him, but he got baited by Ermigo's juke, and he's gonna give the first cap of the game over to OutPast.
I think OutPast have surprised some people with their #1 ranking so far this season.
Yeah, they definitely didn't have some of the bigger names that have been around the minors for seasons. Captain in the Someday is making, I believe, his rookie season in minors, but he's certainly impressed people in novice as well as in TPM.
Filled in last season on whatever Fender's team was called. I think he was a late call-up. Showed pretty well. I think he played against my team when we played Fender's team. He played pretty well. I think we split. And they were considered to be I don't want to say much worse, but a worse team.
Yeah, and definitely he did well enough to prove that he was good enough to captain, leading this team. He's coming into base now.
He did well in the draft too. STU is very good. He can carry the flag for days. Zig, I think, got a little undervalued because he got dropped last season for minors. But he's proven... Ooh, Ermigo barely misses a cap. He's proven that he can carry a defense, I think, this season. And Ermigo is an up-and-comer who kind of proved himself a little bit in XLTP. From my perspective, he seems like a defender who's really, really, really good at prevent. He can get a little better at chasing, but he's definitely somebody I would have looked for a draft. That's where you get your value, is the first time minor league players.
Yeah, and he's done well holding the flag too, as now he's coming in for cap #2. The tag pro from Someday leads him in, and he was just holding for days. Muper Pings were just playing 3 OD for the longest time, and he said, okay, I'll just wait, I'll just be patient. Gives his team a chance to win the power-ups. And, ends up leading to the cap.
Just filling into that balls to you role, where he holds forever and still gets the caps. For find ways for pups. I think that's what I would do here.
Yep, as the whole Muper Pings teams go for them, but they end up letting out the flag as they do it. Tag Pro and a Juke Juice both going over to OutPast. It's a return for cap. The snipe from Amigo, nicely done, and that's going to be a cap as Someday sitting on the flag tile with the Tag Bro lead.
Still have another chance with the Tag Bro on base here. Oh, but Refined doesn't give Amigo any room.
For some reason, yeah, my screen is not... It keeps turning black once in a while. I don't know what's going on, so I apologize for the technical difficulties. It seems to be working once in a while, and then sometimes just cuts back out, so I will just try to monitor it as best I can. Sorry about that. We will see what we can do. But regardless, it's a 3-0 lead for OutPast, and I have to say Amigo's got to be the MVP. He's got 2 caps, and he hit the snipe to get the 3rd one as well.
Played very well so far.
Another Tag Pro over to OutPast is Amigo's going to get another grab out of base. D-Rec gets out at the same time, so both teams are looking to hold. But
Six been playing a lot of anti the last minute or so. They've realized that they've had their flag out of base for too long.
Yep, they have been having a bit of difficulty keeping the flag in base, getting reset as you mentioned. D-Rec was on anti for a second, but then as soon as the return comes, now they have the anti, as Popsic will be able to have the flag out of base. Not quite. Gets returned by El Saco, and Amigo's coming in looking for his 3rd cap. 2v2 blocks. Oh, very close. Almost a nice boost block from in the Someday, but Ref is able to be there for the return. Alright, from what I can tell, every time I like alt-tab away from OBS, it's like, no, I'm not gonna show the screen anymore for some reason. But hopefully if I just stick on it, it works? Who knows? I don't understand computers. No one does. But yeah, hopefully we should be good from now on. I'll just keep this up. I blame OBS because when I opened it earlier today, it was like, hey, there's a new update. So I updated it, and now it's worse. But who knows? As D-Rec tries to come into base, tries to force it in through the small choke though, and that's not going to work out. Good communication will always prevent that small choke. Just a 3-tile gap makes it really hard to come in when you're trying to cap from that angle.
It was a Tag Pro win for the Muper Banks. Might be the first one they've had all game.
And certainly the first one I remember, as Popsic will try to get Ref out of base. Actually, no, I remember they had another time where they're trying to get Ref out of base, and again they're having difficulty. He finally does get it. Amigo doesn't quite hit the snipe. This should be past 4 for Refined. He's coming into base just barely ahead of Amigo, but he does get the cap. Gives the first cap over to the Mupings of the match. With about a minute to go now, we'll see. It's still a pretty close game on Dash. It's anything could happen. There's still lots of time in the second half. Nice move from In the Someday. Gets around Refined and has the boost right into the flag.
Nice blocks there. Amigo could go with power-ups up.
Yeah, he thinks
He's gonna
about
wait
it.
and guarantee they get the one.
Yeah, he sees a couple people in front of him. Ooh,
And Someday leaves it anyway.
Yeah, Someday leaves it. He was a little bit too scared of leaving regrab open. And it's still dangerous now for the mover pings to trying to come into base. Refined, the blocks not quite there. Nice grab from Zig. He's gonna get out of base with it. And Water Wheel, he's gonna look for a kiss. That should be working out for the mover pings if D-Rec can get out of base. And the Someday uses both his boosts, but D-Rec's still alive. He has 4 in front. Only about 15 seconds left. This might be the last or second to last chance for the cap for this half.
You gotta go there. Give yourself a second chance too.
Yeah, you might as well. If you have a player on regrab with 5 seconds left, I mean, they're gonna be useless unless you end up dying and helping out to block maybe for the second one. So I feel like you gotta force those.
You're not gonna get 2v4 blocks in base when they're camping at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. If you have a chance to uh, come in and maybe force a grab while you're trying to do it, that's pretty much the best option you have. But again, impressive half from OutPast. They've impressed a lot of people in their few weeks so far of existence. They now lead 4-1, heading into half number two.
It was a big half from Amigo. 2 minutes and 48 seconds of hold in those two caps. And that snipe assist for the a third cap.
Yeah, he's definitely surprised a lot of people throughout the season. Of course, he started the season, I believe, as a DEP. I think Someday has
Yeah,
said that he was looking at our Amigo even back at the draft, but wasn't quite sure. And then after week one, went full into it, called him up and to replace Darth, and has not looked back since.
definitely talented. It'll be interesting to see if Mooper Pangs put Will in. I don't think Direct necessarily played poorly himself, but after losing a half, you always have that thought of to bring back the true lineup would be.
Yeah, Will, he's with those 10 minutes, he could have gotten in a couple pubs, maybe warmed up a little bit. Who knows? But he's still on the bench at least right now. It's possible that maybe he's out for another reason. Maybe he's having some lag issues. Who knows? But it looks like they'll be sticking for Drek. Well, we'll see. At least they're again taking a bit of a delay before the next half is starting. Outpass saying they're ready. Waterwheel, he's the group leader though. He gets to decide when everything starts.
Didn't feel like the Mooper Pangs were playing that poorly. They just didn't have their flag and base for 2 or 3 minutes there in the middle of the half.
Yeah,
I think Outpast got the advantage of the power ups then. Got a cap or two. And that was basically the difference.
Yep, and we do see Will is in the starting lineup now. He'll be coming in
Oh,
back for Drek. As you mentioned, I think Moverpings, they had a couple good chances at the beginning, couldn't really capitalize, and then Outpass just managed to take advantage of their opportunities a lot better. All right, as half number two is getting underway. Again, it's a 3 cap lead for Outpass as we switch sides. Not a huge, not an insurmountable lead on a map like this, but certainly you got a lot of work to do to come back. Ref.
yeah, this map, it's easy keep the flag and base when it's there. And so if you're up by 3 playing anti, if you play it smart, you can almost hold out 10 minutes. I know that's not the way you should play, but this is a map where it's relatively easy to keep it in. So you can slow down the game for sure. But Ermigo gets out here.
Yeah, again, the first grab goes for the boost straight the flag, but Popsick is in the way. That's the first real grab out of base for either team, as the first round of power-ups will be coming up soon. All 8 players going for them. It's 2v2 battles. Zig leaves for the bottom power-up a little bit early. I'm not sure what that was about. Ends up really just giving it up 2 for 1. But the tag pro for the Mover Pings ends up spiking himself, trying to get to offense.
They're just going to keep it on defense.
Yeah. He tried once. That's it. No more. And as the power-ups run out, they weren't able to use them. But again, a nice grab from Amigo. He's going to be past 3 if he can get the blocks around Will. Nice move, but Popsick was not blocked. El Sacco couldn't quite get the block on him for long enough. He catches up in time. Still a good chance. Popsick is really far away from the flag, and that grab is not a good one, as Will gets blocked out for the first cap of the half, again going over to Outpast, extending their lead to 4.
Nice quick move there from Someday to take that top boost all the way across top. Right in.
And again, they are keeping the regrab train alive until, of course, I say something. Someday goes for the boost through the spike, Doesn't hit it though, hits the wall instead. But they do have the Tag Bro. Nice grab from the Tag Bro, kills the Juke Juice. So now he's past 2 with Ermiga with the Tag Bro spawning. This is a really good chance for a cap. El Sacco is just going to clear out the last couple of members in base. And that's going to be another cap for OutPast.
I am pro grabbing with a Tag Bro more than most people. Dying like that. This map for sure is one that it's definitely very useful to grab, get a kill, die, and then spawn in base. And that's what OutPast just did there to get that cap.
Will, he goes for the split. He was past 2 for so long because multiple times, OutPast members managed to spike themselves while trying to catch up. But unfortunately, he couldn't quite finish it off. The split blocks weren't 100% of the way there. And again, it seems like, they're having the opportunities to move pings, they're just not capitalizing the same way that OutPast is able to. Will goes for a snipe. That would have been a good chance for a reset for Ref, and Popsic was coming to base, but instead he misses it. Still a good chance for a reset though, as Will and Popsic should get this return, and now they need... Will it get Zig? No, so Zig gets to the boost, and Ermio gets the return on the other side. They'll take a kiss. That's a bit of a mutual kiss. Both teams should be reset now, but...
And OutPast, they'll take that reset?
Absolutely. Up by 5 now. You'll take all the resets you can get. Just seems like...
I'd be interested to see if... Or do you think caps on Dash, like caps per game, I think it would be higher or lower than Rush?
Interesting. I feel like the boost in the mid doesn't... I think you said it earlier, it doesn't help capping that much. It helps you chase more, it helps you like get ahead. If you're behind, you always have that mid boost, 2 of them even, to catch up. From what I remember in Rush, back when I played a very long time ago, it seemed to be very high scoring. Maybe that's just because I was bad at it on defense, but but yeah, so overall I would probably say Dash, Dash to be fewer caps, but not by much.
Yeah, I've had instances where Rush had very little caps and a lot of caps. So it kind of can go either way. It just depends on how quickly a team gets it out of base. There was one, I think it was season 14, as Zig is going to come in for a free cap as power-ups were spawning. And I've just pounced on the open base. 3-0 game for OutPast.
And Sunday's gonna make it 4. He had the rolling bomb grab and is able to just chain it right into the second cap of that train. And that's almost certainly going to be the dagger. Now, 7 cap lead. 7? Is that right?
7,
yeah. Only 4 minutes to go. At this point, I think the mover pings, they'll just look for a little bit of momentum heading into game number 2.
It is interesting to note that both Water Wheel and Refined had... Ermiga is going to get another one.
Oh,
nice
man.
patience to get around that turn.
Nicely done. Gets around Ref with the block, and it's a 5-0 game. Another nice cap from Ermigo. He's impressed a lot this week and overall this season.
It was a nice boost from In the Someday. Take that bot mid boost up and around to get the top power up. I haven't seen too many Rush games, but I haven't seen that boost like that. I liked it.
Yeah, and it gave him a rolling bomb, nearly led to a cap as well. But this is a cap. Oh, almost a return for cap for Refined. He had it for a second, but Ermigo is able to survive with the flag. And again, Mover Ping's just really not able to get that reset. They're giving up the grabs during power-ups. They're not able to get the resets when they almost have anti, but not quite in there. And the block, what a block from Ermigo, and great read from Someday. Makes it now a 10-1 game.
Do you think Ermigo, from what I saw in XLTP, he would scrim with us every once in a while? We played him. I don't think you were there that one week where we had that like 8-minute OT against his team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh my
someday.
God! Someday,
Wow.
no way.
Oh,
He
he's not gonna
doesn't
get
have
it
the
though.
momentum.
That's crazy.
Oh, that would have been a top 10 play right there.
Migo is definitely very good at prevent, which I think obviously translates into blocking. And he held that block there when I wasn't quite sure he was going to have it.
Yep, and finally, the Mover Ping's able to get reset. They'll just look for one cap this half. They still have a few minutes left, still some time. The morale boost really heading into Sugar Hill. Sugar Hill, certainly a very different map as it's not.
Completely different map. Yes.
Yeah. Here's an opportunity. A 2v2 blocks. Will, he's gonna get around? Surely he gets there. He does. Will gets his first cap of the night as he joins the team in half 2. And certainly good to see that Will, he's not cold. He's ready to play. He's got his first cap now. He's had a couple
8
other
minutes.
opportunities, but yeah, it only took 8 minutes. But you'll take what you can get, you know.
Yes. Someday still making some nice moves with the flag. A lot of spikes that are happening tonight with teams.
Yeah, we'll have to check the non-drop pop stats after this half ends. They haven't added any more spikes to this version. Oh, yes, there's another one. In the Someday jukes someone, I think it was Popsick, into the spike. And there was a really good opportunity for Mover Pinks to get reset there, but just neither one of the defenders was ready for the handoff, and Aramigo was just able to get out of base again. And another spike for Popsick. Just looking a little bit sloppy as the final round of power-ups are coming up. Both teams go for the grab instead. A Tag Pro does come in for Refined. This is a good chance to get another cap, for the morale heading into game number 2. Water Wheel, he's gonna get there. El Seco missed the snipe.
Popsick came off of Ray to get that return.
Yep, always smart. If you have the return for cap with a Tag Pro lead, always come off of Re. You're not doing any good.
Especially when you have a juke juice.
Yeah.
Popsick did.
It's one of those things that's funny. You see a little bit as the meta sort of shifts. Of course, before there was regrab, and then once regrab exists, it's everyone just saying never ever leave regrab, right? If you're just sitting on it, you have to be there. And then there's a bit of a shift back where it's like, well, now that there's anti-re all the time, you got to come off sometimes and be more useful.
Yeah.
And that will do it. The clock ticks down to 0. Final score of this game is 10-3. OutPast takes the win on game number 1 on Dash.
Another nice win for OutPast as the season. I think that reaches the halfway point right there for them.
Yep, that's true. We are now officially halfway through the season for these two teams. And OutPast already on top of the leaderboard before this week. They'll certainly still be there after game number 1.
Going back to our non-drop pops, OutPast had 17 non-drop pops, and the Muper Pings had 13. Feels like a lot for a map like Rush.
Yep, they'll definitely need to clean those up as we head to game number 2.
There's 8 minutes of prevent for OutPast. 4 minutes for just Zig. A lot of prevent as well. 11 power-ups for the Muper Pings that time. 7 for OutPast, and OutPast got 1 Tag Pro.
Alright, my Tag Pro is now being slow. I think other people in my house just started watching streaming some TV shows, so hopefully it doesn't completely ruin my internet, which is already pretty bad. We'll see. There we go. Group. Oh, I think everyone was having trouble with the group. I think that happens a lot, especially when everyone's playing.
For some reason, I remained in the group, but yeah, everybody else basically left and had to come back. It wasn't just you.
Okay. That makes me feel better, though. All right, I will post since I never actually said so. I'll put the link. Chennai versus Outpast Game 2 starting soon. Most of the other games will have finished up by now. Let's see, I was checking some of the scores earlier. I believe there's definitely another late game that's going on right now. That's the Snow Angles versus Pie Curious. And there's another game that is not until Wednesday, but most of the other games should be pretty much done by now. The Itsy Bitsy Spikers were playing the Mumble Cappers. That was a good game. Looking at the scores, looks like split. That game 1 goes over to the Spikers. Game 2 won by the Cappers. And let's see who else. Bottle Cappers?
Bottle
No,
Otters.
Bottle Otters. Bottle Cappers was my U.S. Contenders team, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Oops.
It looks like Bottle Otters swept the Roman swipes.
Okay, so nicely done from them. That should put them in pretty good situation. They're already tied for the Mumble Cappers for fifth, so they'll be passing them after this week as we are headed into game number 2 on Sugar Hill.
So one thing that is interesting to note about the Mooper Pings struggling a bit in game 1 is that both Water Wheel and Refined had very poor weeks in TPM this week. Both played about 30 games, roughly, in TPM. And Water Wheel dropped 600 at ELO. And Refined dropped over 400. I have been keeping track of all of the ELOs of all of the minors players this season and how they're like their ELO for one, but then how their rank in minors is up and down. And Water Wheel dropped 14 spots this week
Wow.
on minors leaderboard. Find was up really, really high, so his 400 plus drop only dropped in 3 spots. But drops from those two, who are two of the highest in the league
Yeah.
before this week. They were second and fifth overall after week 3 in
Are
ELO.
are you in the game? Oh, okay. Are
I'm
you
looking
still
for a game.
joining?
Yeah.
I had to go back to group, and it looks like a bunch of people got kicked from the group again, so a little bit of a delay. Don't blame me. Blame the servers. Just kidding. Don't. But I think we're gonna have to come back to group because it looks like no one is actually in the game yet.
And it is also interesting to note how many minors players just don't play any PPM games. Besides Water and Refine playing almost 30, no other player on Mooper Pings, regular player or DEP, played any games this week. Interesting. Similar thing for Outpast. Someday and Balls to You played 15 plus games each. And then Zig, Darth, Ermigo, and Sacco didn't play any games.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a certain subset of the population that will just play almost every night, um,
Right.
and that certainly helps you keep sort of keep your mechanics up in between these weeks. It sort of depends on how much the teams are scrimming as well. But as
Right.
I think we'll be looking for another group. Everyone has now left. Hopefully, someone sends it to me, cause I don't have it. But so the only other game that has already gone on that we didn't talk about was the Dinos versus the Ball Guys. Looks like the Ball Guys came out with a sweep. Um, yeah, so Bally's team takes the sweep.
I think the Dinos have struggled a bit more than people were expecting before this season.
Yep. As we look at the standings after 3.5 weeks ish, You see Ball Guys and the Dinos, the two teams, they just play each other, and as you mentioned, they've been struggling a bit. Another big loss for the Dinos against a team that hasn't been doing as well. That's not going to look very good. They are now, um, they will be in the bottom three of the leaderboard. The other bottom two teams are the Angles and Pykeras, who are also playing each other right now. So one of them perhaps has a chance to make a big jump up in the standings, as Ball Guys were able to. I do have a new group now. I will send that to you, JJ. Hopefully this one works.
You always have to expect to struggle when you have Owen on your team. Yeah, that's just kind of how it goes.
Oh, they already started. Wow, imagine that. Okay.
Wow.
Rip, I only missed about 10 seconds. If I can switch over. Okay, cool. I think it's because I didn't have the settings on Discord. So like it has like the streamer settings so that it doesn't make any noises when you get a PM. So I didn't realize he'd sent me a
Oh,
PM.
right.
Alright, we are now here, and I think it was probably black for a few seconds because OBS is dumb. But now we're actually watching the game for real now. Alright. We are on Sugar Hill. Let's see, I guess I need to zoom out so you can see the whole map.
This looks like the without team tiles version that we used in XLTP.
Yeah, I think a lot of the changes, whenever you see some of like the pub maps switching over to competitive, you pretty much always take out the team tiles. I feel like team tiles, people feel like they make it too easy for chasers, so they just take them out. I know it happened with Titanic as well for the version that they used in TPM. In Sugar Hill,
I
of
feel like
course.
offenses are still coddled in league play.
Yeah.
Like, play maps, maybe not specifically Smirk, but small maps like Smirk where like your offense has to work to get out. Because it's defensive heavy doesn't make it a bad map.
Well, already this map is looking pretty good for the Mover Pings. They got their first cap, taking the first lead of the series so far. Certainly trying to turn things around. Oh, I still have to change the hat as well. That's what I always forget to change.
Did kind of take a little bit of momentum, if you believe in momentum, in the last few minutes or two of the first game there.
Yeah,
Like
honestly,
for the catch at the end.
I honestly think like changing groups as well, sort of just like
Yeah.
the extra minute to be like, all right, it's a new game, you know, it's a new
Now
group,
Will's
new
warmed up.
game. Exactly. He actually DDoSed the server so he could fit in another pub.
Yep.
All part of the plan. All right, so the other thing with this map is that we now have 3 power-ups on the map, which means there's just a lot more options, really. You have to think a lot more about who's going to fight for which, since, you know, there's always going to be one power-up that you can only send one person for, or at most, or leave empty or something like that.
And they almost always turn into chains
Yeah.
on Sugar Hill.
Yeah, so it's certainly who's able to keep track of the chains, who's able to, you know, get all those timers. As, yeah, we are heading into another round of power-ups, a 2v2 battle for the top one, and then just 1v1 battles in mid and bot. Two tag pros on the board, one for either team. As the tag pro lead is going to give Aramigo a chance to lead this someday. Out of base, he's going to come in through portal. No, he doesn't elect for it, as Popsick just kills his teammate. A little rude there. Still a chance for someday, but it's probably not going to happen as the tag pros do run out. Now he's just going to walk into a spike. Can't give up the returns, you know.
And no stats.
Has a nice bomb from Aramigo. He kills his teammate, but he has the handoff to himself. He's going to look to go in the portal. Ref covers the angle, and Popsick cuts him off as well. Mover Pink's definitely looking a lot better on both sides of the ball, keeping the flag in base.
Yeah, I was going to say, OutPast is definitely struggling to get the flag out on this map compared to what they were doing on Dash.
As triple tag pro, they call him the green team.
Green team.
I always, triple tag bro never seems to work out. Is it really that much better than two? This one should be. Oh no,
Oh
Ermigo, what a
no!
play! That's a great play. The fake going through the portal, and then baits ref to go through and gets the kill behind him. And that certainly saves a cap from Ermigo. He's impressed us again.
Good. I think Sugar Hill gives you some weird plays like that are interesting. I'm not sure it's great competitive map.
I'm not really sure how I feel about it, to be honest. I haven't played on it too much. I think it's interesting. I think there's a lot you can do with like the bombs and the portal um, in mid, but I understand people. It's not their favorite.
There's just a lot, in my opinion. There's a lot of areas to it, areas on the map that just don't do anything. What does the gate with the button do? Like, what's the purpose of that? Nobody goes through there.
Yeah, oftentimes that's not utilized too much, but you can get some good plays if you have, I feel like most of the time it's used as just a blocking it off. Like you're never gonna go through gate because you always know your defender is gonna be there.
Yeah,
But so it just makes it a little bit harder to get out of base. Just that extra step where you have to think about where the defender is gonna be. As Will's gonna come into base, he's gonna be passed to. He has the boost. He comes around. No,
oh,
they don't get the block in El Seco. Somehow he's still alive though. But he does get finally returned as next round power ups will be spawning soon. It was a nice
here's the
boost.
chain. The top chains to mid.
Yep, and unfortunately not able to capitalize on it, but the tag pros do kiss, which has a good opportunity for Refined. He's gonna come into base and get cap number 2 for the Muper Pings.
Oh, but Will dies. He got bombed out and then gated.
Yeah, chance for the
Oh,
counter
nice.
cap. Great pull from Water Wheel. Perfectly timed uh, to use
Oh,
his .25 to get the kill on the defender.
Popsic could have gotten around that tag, bro. It was tough, but if he got around that tag, bro, that would have been a cap for water, and he still might get one if.
Still a good chance. Can he get around? Yes, Someday has too much momentum. Goes right past the flag tile. Makes it a 3-0 game. Mover Pings, after a tough loss in game 1, coming back strong here in game 2.
Looking good so far, especially on D. They're locking it down.
Yep, they are doing very well to keep the flag in base. A nice bomb from Will. He has a boost to work with. Great boost. He's going to come in through the
Nice.
portal, and that's going to be a cap. What a booster out from Will. 1119.
Hot.
And they still have the re-grab chain alive. Popsic, he forced it through the portal. Didn't need to do that. Ends up giving up the re-grab. But still, they're holding on to a 4-0 lead after about 8 minutes of play here.
Nice grab. Refined coming in portal.
Yep, and Will with the regrab. There's that gate again. Just he
I
already
guess
knows.
yeah, I guess on that side the gate works, but on the other side it doesn't. But I guess for it to be on one side, it has to be on the other.
Yeah. As you mentioned, it does become a chain game as the middle power-up is just the last one. So you get these 2v2 battles as El Saco, nice win with the tag pro mid, gets a double kill, and Amigo's going to be passed through. This should be a cap as Zig holds on to the last block on ref. OutPast gets their first cap of the game. Still a 3 cap deficit, but
basically got the cap just because they got that tag pro.
yep, the power-ups, very important on any map, especially the tag pros. Here's another good chance from El Saco. Zig gets the return. Oh,
Oh,
that was
Popsic
bold.
left it open there a little bit.
Yeah. Um, certainly a bold move. Popsic wasn't gonna give him all the way. Wasn't just gonna let him walk in right under his nose though.
Yeah, I mean, you guys gonna hold the pups.
Yeah, he's just gonna wait for the pups. Maybe help out someday top. He he probably could have helped somebody if he had left earlier, but instead he's waiting near mid, which he should know is the last one to spawn. Ends up giving
You
up
know,
2 tag pros to the Mooper
they
Pings.
got 3, but I think we're fine. Got 2 of them.
Ah, okay.
It's another 3 tag pro sweep for the Muper Banks.
Someone pull up the chi-squared test on Tag Pro EU. But hey, if you're gonna win the power-ups, if you're gonna win Tag Pros, it's gonna come from winning power-ups. Just happens. Sometimes it just happens. But with about 10 seconds left, last chance maybe for El Sacco. 2v3 on OD, probably not gonna happen. Looks like that's how this half is going to end. Game 2, half 1 gives the first half win over to the Moop Pinks. They'll take a 3-cap lead heading into half number 2 on Sugar Hill.
Definitely played a lot better in that half. I would say more composed. As Water Wheel types in team chat, we found the answer. We don't know what the answer is, but Mooper Pings found it. Sure.
For sure, wow. They really know they have the answer. Not sure what the question was, but hey.
Power-ups that half. Mooper Pings 19, OutPast 8.
Oof.
And of those 19 power-ups, they got 9 tag pros.
Wow. Very impressive. Almost half of their power-ups were tag pros. Certainly you can't expect that to happen every single game, but when you win 2/3 of the power-ups, you're gonna get some tag pros some of the time.
OutPast had 7 minutes and 13 seconds of prevent. It was a lot. Zig had 312, Sacco with 250. I felt like Sacco had the flag a lot as well, so that 250 is a very good number.
Interesting to see that they have so much prevent despite giving up the caps. I guess, as opposed to say the Mooper Pings in game 1, where it seemed like the caps, after they gave up some caps, they weren't able to keep the flag in base. The regrab changes kept it alive. OutPast seemed to, stem the bleeding a little bit better, where if they give up a cap, they're already playing anti, they're already prepared for the, setting up on OD, getting ready for the next one. So maybe that's how they managed to keep the game within 3 caps. That's within striking distance, but still a lot of work to do. As we are...
I think...
Yeah, go ahead.
Water Wheel's giving out the details there of the answer. He just typed out in group chat, no trains, and to use anti.
Yep, so he's already thinking about parking the bus. Can't park the bus the whole game. Just saying. People have tried. Doesn't work. And
this map's definitely a little more faster paced than Dash.
Yeah.
It's a little too early to start thinking about parking. It's good strategy in general.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, if you have a lead, you're gonna give up some caps some of the time. That's inevitable. But making sure that you don't tilt. If you give up one, you don't let them get out for the next one. Making sure that you stay composed, as you mentioned. The composure looked a lot better this last half. Okay, there we go. As yeah, they'll be looking to get a split, pull out 3 points from this tough matchup against the league-leading OutPast.
I think another key that Waterwheel should have typed out, they need to get 9 tag pros again this half.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Well, they're able to get the power-ups. They had a couple of juke juices, but they give up the cap already after just a minute and a half. The lead cut to 2. But hey, they're following rule number 1, no trains. So,
No
I mean, is that a win? It's a win for the Cubs, I don't know, that's a baseball meme from sometime. Anyway, both flags are out of base again. See, both teams already playing anti. Waterwheel follows his own advice, and it works out as they get the cap right back.
Bomb from Popsec shot Hermio all the way back to base.
Power-ups will be spawning again. This time 2 go over to OutPast, but it's a tag pro for either team and a rolling bomb that'll get a grab out for someday. This is a good opportunity. Ermigo and Alsago should come off relook for the return as they have the Type lead and the rolling bomb. Oh, what a move from Someday. He's sitting on the flag tile. Ref runs all the way back to base. Oh, and he's still alive. Somehow he's able to prevent the cap by holding for so long. Still dangerous though, as Popsic there to clean it up with the boost.
I think, like you said, Alsaco should have been a little bit more aggressive off of the grab there. Ermigo was kind of chasing by himself. He can catch up.
And again, we will return to the full reset. That is what Move Pings want to see. Keeping the anti in place, keeping the reset as much as possible. As this time they might give it up for the power-ups though. They lost 2 out of 3 last time. This time they win 2 out of 3, but all 3 tag pros. It's the 3rd time. Someone calculate those odds. Shouldn't be too hard, right? Oh no! In the
Might be another one if
Someday.
Water dies. Oh, but he stays alive.
Water needs to survive for a lot longer now as a type pro spawning. Will trying to clean it up, but that last cab, that's rough. Will was just off the flag tile, and I can't remember who it was, but whoever had the flag, I think they tried to push it a bit too hard trying to get through the gate there. They could have cut back maybe and survived just a couple extra seconds, and that would have been all they needed.
It's a nice play from Someday to get that cap, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Right place, right time. He knows his team. He sees it's coming, and he's ready for it. He's sitting on the flag tile.
Cap without being a little bit aggressive.
Another opportunity. 2v2 blocks. Ermigo has a nice block on Popsic, but Will 11-19. Good positioning on OD. As this time the power-ups are spawning, all 3 going over to the mover pings. Another win of the power-ups. Unfortunately, Ref not quite able to use his rolling bomb yet, and he doesn't get the grab, but he gets a kill. Gets Will out of base. Someday was almost basically nubbed the the mover pings again. He was past them when he probably shouldn't have been. That portal can surprise people sometimes.
Yes.
You get too caught up in chasing, you go around the gate, and all of a sudden they're past you. Imagine that. But OutPasts, they had a reset for a second there. I know something they couldn't keep it in base though. But they did well to get the return. Unfortunately, the anti is just not working out yet. Now it does. Zig has it, and they have the reset. If Ermigo can get out, he's past 2. 2v2 blocks, good positioning. They have the diamond that Mooper Pings do. They don't get the return yet, but they at least force him away as power-ups are spawning.
All rollings.
This time all rollings. You have to cancel it out for the tag pros at some point, I suppose. As the handoff will go to Someday, he's sitting with the rolling bomb on the flag.
Kill.
Yeah, I think he just doesn't want to give it up, his own rolling, but it is going to be out soon enough, so now he has to use it anyway. Both teams playing anti again. If they wanted to, if you're playing anti, it means if you're knighted in base, you probably only have one person chasing you. So, but Waterwheel puts himself in a bad position. Oh, but he gets the split to get out of it. In general, it's just a bad idea to come to base when you don't have a chance to cap, but this time worked out for him, and now he certainly has a chance to cap as the return comes and they have the 2v2 blocks. Nicely done. Returning the lead to 3.
It was a good feeling when you have a long hold with some nice splits like that ends up getting you a cap.
Yep, absolutely. That was a very long hold, and well done from Water to stay alive for so long. Now he needs to stay alive as Ermigo is trying to come into base. He has a tag pro lead for a bit. Both teams actually have a return for cap for just a second. But Waterwheel is going to be the first one returned. We'll see if they can hold on to the regrab chain. Waterwheel immediately plays anti. Doesn't even care. But they will give up the cap though. The 2v2 blocks are there, and Ref wasn't set up for anti in the Someday, trying to bring it in for the second one. It's only a 2-cap game, 3 minutes to go. Still plenty of time. The blocks are there again. Someday coming in and gets another cap. Great blocks. And just like that, it is a 1-cap game. Three
I think that
minutes
was
to go.
an example of something that I don't think people do enough is that you're playing anti, and in this case, like you have a lead and you're trying to hold it out in the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game. If you're playing anti and somebody in your team dies, you shouldn't leave anti until he spawns and you pass it off. Because
Yeah,
water left anti there, and Refine hadn't really spawned or wasn't in a good spot based on his spawn yet. And water left, and whoever died, and OutPast's regrab was able to get out even with Refine still there. And it ended up getting in the someday another cap. Or if water just, even if it's like kind of double anti for 2 or 3 seconds, you know that the flag's not going to get out.
yep, and yeah, definitely for sure. Armero gets a nice solo grab there. He's not going to be able to come into base, but yeah, definitely like you said. I mean, in that situation, Waterwheel, puts himself sort of in no man's land. He leaves regrab, so he's not protecting that, and he's not able to catch up in time to prevent the cap, so he's not really
Right.
helping anywhere. He's just in midfield for that whole time. Um, and yeah, so that was a sort of train that Waterwheel said, can't let those happen if Mover Pings want to hold on to this game. They do still have a lead, but they have they have about a minute and a half. They need to hold on to it yet. Waterwheel goes for a snipe backwards for El Sacco. Sacco can't quite get under Will, and that would have been big. He would have been past 3.
It's all going to come down to these power ups.
Yep, the last round of power ups will be coming up in just about 10 seconds. OutPast really needs them. They certainly can't give up a couple tag pros or a tag pro and a juke juice. That would almost certainly kill most of their chances until the final 20 seconds or so. Will in a nice sort of a sandwich position going for the top power, but able to win it are OutPast. It's a tag pro for either side, and a rolling bomb that got defused. So not really a power up advantage for either team, and really that works out for the Mover Pings, as they'll
Yep.
take the it's we always take the double reset, the kiss if you're ahead. Just keep the flag in base. And that leaves 30 seconds to go. Outpass needs a cap. They go 3-0. First grab doesn't work out though. Zig and Aramigo, they need to cap the next 10 seconds or so. It only takes a few seconds to get base to base, depending on if you come through portal or something. 10 seconds now. Oh, almost a nice attempt at the bomb. 5 seconds. Someday he's not going to have enough time, I don't think.
No.
Does finally get out of base, but the clock expires and Muper Pings barely, by the skin of their teeth, hold on to win game number 2. Final score of 6-5. This game will end overall, this match will end overall as a split. OutPast wins game number 1 in a landslide, and game number 2 on Sugar Hill, Mover Pings managed to pull out 3 points out of this matchup, and they'll certainly take that as against such a good team in OutPast.
That is OutPast's first outright loss this season. They have an overtime loss. That is their first regulation loss of the season.
Wow, so yeah, very impressive then from the Mover Pings to even get that much out of this game. They had to fight for every second of it. But they do pull out their win. They'll get 3 points. They're sitting, probably they'll still hover around the middle of the table, at least for this week. But I think it's 8 teams that make the playoffs, so they're still in pretty good
I
position for
believe
that.
so.
And then Outpass, even though it's their first loss, they looked very good against Mooper Ping's team, who at the beginning of the season many were saying were the team to beat in minors. So
And they were missing who probably most would say is their best player in Balls to You.
that's right, yeah. Balls to you. As I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, the second overall leading capper in the league. Certainly a big miss, but they managed to put up. El Sacco did well coming in as a sub. They put up a good number of caps. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough in game number 2. But still, people were a little bit hesitant. They were doubting this team at the beginning of the season. At this point, no one's doubting them anymore.
Nope. Definitely proven that they're a top team. In the split tonight.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I assume it could be that the last match going on tonight, Pie Curious and the Angles might still be going on. So check that out if you're so inclined. But otherwise, any last words, JJ?
Nope. We will hopefully see you next week.
Yep, absolutely. I don't know what the schedule's like for next week, but hopefully we'll be back next week for more Minor League Tag Pro action. Uh, Thank you again for watching. This has been uh, Minor League Tag Pro Season 22. For my co-host JJ Poole, I'm Savanvak. We'll see you next week.